Hey guys, I figured I'd hit in a few minutes early. I have an appointment right after the live stream, so I figured we'd just start things out a little early. I wanted to start off by thanking you guys for all the support you have given to my husband for his birthday fundraiser in honor of his friend Jimmy. It's pretty epic that we've already raised over $2,200 for St. Jude's. I'm just pulling the chat up on my computer here so I can actually see it. I don't think you guys know how much that means to my husband and therefore me, so thank you. Much, much appreciated. I thought today we would take a look at some of the display tanks. They're doing surprisingly well, so it's pretty great. The fish in the 75-gallon nano community are doing exactly what I hoped they would do. You know, a lot of times, you know, I keep all my species tanks. I don't actually build many communities, and that's been for me to be able to streamline my business. But I think I just want to get back into keeping more fish than I sell. So it's been really, really fun for me to build these communities, and it's nice to know that what I think I understand about fish behavior is actually really true. So it's great. The fish all look really happy. I threw some Pygmy Quarries into that 20-gallon community I started, and they're looking good. We'll take a look at that too. We'll say hi to Captain Cranky Pants, of course, and the big boys, and probably the baby Endleys. Maybe we'll even feed them. You guys let me know what you want to see, and we will take a look around. I'm in a lot of pain today, so I don't know how much I'll want to climb around on ladders, but we'll see. We'll see. I also forgot to charge my phone because I'm a genius, so... Freezing Texas. I don't think Texas can really complain about freezing. You want to see how Whiskey's doing? I'll show you guys them right now. Let's see. There's Captain, and there's Whiskey. Thank you, Cal, for the super chat. Captain scraped himself up pretty good being a dumbass yesterday. So he's got, you'll see some battle wounds. I gave him a big 50% water change today. He certainly doesn't seem to be affected personality-wise. I think he doesn't understand why we're not feeding him. Earlier, Whiskey was all over the tank, swimming in the whole tank, which is always nice to see. He seems to do little laps, which I think is very cute. Thank you. My daughter's doing really well. She has the next round of her diving championships this Saturday at 1 in the afternoon. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, Captain's not the brightest bulb. That's one reason a lot of times with bigger cichlids that most folks don't opt to keep much decor. If he continues to tear himself up, we'll have to take out a lot of it and go back to a largely bare aquarium. You can see that his pectoral fins are a bit torn up and he has scrapes on both sides. He just really needs to, like, not attack the furniture. So we'll see how he does. Yes, she did win Athlete of the Week, but with like 43% of the votes. One of the girls that she was up against is actually on the senior USA gymnastics team, so we'll see her in the Olympics in the summer. Well, in 2 summers. And if her fans would have come for Abby, we would have been in trouble. Captain is like a bull in a china shop. Will I have a table at the BFD marketplace? I just don't know. My knee is doing so bad that I don't know that I want to be moving all the stuff and caring for the stuff all weekend in order to sell things. I'll definitely be there. I just am not sure that I'm going to do anything other than pre-orders. Pre-orders are easy because I can bag the fish up, put them on a hand cart, and then people can just come get them from me. Actually, setting up a mobile fish room in a hotel and caring for it all weekend, and then moving it from the hotel room down to the ballroom for the sales is a bit much. So we'll see how I'm feeling, you know, and I don't know. Let's look at, am I going to get a scooter? Hopefully I won't need one. This is the, here, let me, I said I wasn't going to climb on ladders, and the first thing I do is grab a ladder. This is the 20 long. I added another piece of wood here. I think it looks a little better. But I'm still on the fence about this actual hardscape. So we'll see over time if I do that. You can see I added some of the Pygmaeus. Now, some of you asked in the comments when I set this up if this substrate would be an obstacle for Coreodorus catfish. And the reality is as you can see, these guys rarely to never actually hang out on the substrate. They hang out more mid-water and hovering above the substrate. So for this particular species, having sand or smooth gravel is not as important as long as I'm able to keep it clean. There are species of Coreodorus who, as part of their normal foraging and feeding strategy, will actually bury their faces up to their eyes. And with fish like that really actively feed off the substrate and spend time on the substrate, it's very, very important to have a smooth substrate. But these little hovering mid-water Pygmaeus, it's really not the case. That's one of those misnomers. If I had any new fry lately, yeah, there's fry all over the place. We'll take a look, see what I can find. I haven't really been talking about my knee until yesterday, but it's gotten really, really bad, and it's making it very difficult to pull fry or rear fry because that takes a lot of effort. Now, the Weitzman eyes that I put in here, the black darter tetras, I saw some earlier. They're still being a bit shy. It takes that fish a little while to sort of settle in and become visible. So, you know, I saw them this morning and they were already coloring up, but I think it'll probably take a few weeks until they're really settled in and we can see much of them. That's sort of why I added the pygmies. One, because it would add more activity in this tank, and two, because it was one more tank that I could break down immediately. I plan to close out about probably 60 or 70 tanks in preparation for surgery, and then set them up again later when I'm healed. Now the plan, I'll find out from my surgeons if it's feasible or not. The plan for me is to put off surgery until June, so that I can attend all my daughter's dive meets, get the fish room ready, move most of my little fish outside in order to breed in the tubs, and then that way there won't be that, there'll just be my display tanks down here running for my family to maintain. And then I can continue to provide content with you guys, because it's only 2 stairs to the greenhouse and the tubs, whereas it's an entire flight to get down here. My knee, I was an athlete all the way through college, and it just took a beating. I've had a bunch of surgeries, including a reconstruction, multiple reconstructions, and at this point it's just bone on bone, so the bones actively grind together every move I make, so it's interrupting with sleep. It's obviously making it difficult to walk or stand. It's excruciatingly painful, and I've been waiting almost 20 years for this knee replacement, and finally I went in and they said, well, you need it now. So the last time I went, they said, let's wait again until you're in your mid to late 40s. Now they're saying now. Yeah, it does hurt a lot. But yeah, see how the green neons are really utilizing this entire midsection of the aquarium? This is really what I was hoping they would do, but I wasn't sure that they would. They can be a bit shy. In fact, there's 100 of them in that 20-gallon there, and you don't even see but a few at a time. The hope was by adding them into this large aquarium with a lot of space and cover, as well as the fish above them, that it would make them feel confident enough to be very visible in the aquarium. And it's definitely working. They look fantastic. They're all over the place. They're really utilizing the entire aquarium. and it's rewarding to see them behaving how I thought they would. So, I look forward to doing more of these communities. I want to do, I have to do something with this, like, I don't even know what to call this tank. But I need to do something with it. It's ugly. It's just full of guppy grass. I would like to do a West African nano. But we'll have to see. No, I'm not dosing anything. I don't use fertilizers. I don't use CO2. I just try and, these are all easy, low light, relatively simple plants. Oh, Hypopotoma species Peru are fantastic little fish. But yeah, so let's look at the baby Endleys real quick. Oh, we got one doing its wiggle dance for you. They're so stinking cute. They just got a big 50% water change too, so feeling a little frisky. A couple of them are getting substantially bigger than others. So I may have to end up setting up 2 tanks for these guys to prevent problems with aggression. There's one that's always inside that tube. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. But this one's pretty big, and that one back there is pretty big. So we'll have to see. There's little Pinoculus. Of course, the big boys. Ugh. They're so cute. They got a huge feeding by accident yesterday. I tipped the krill into the aquarium to give them a small feeding and ended up dumping like a quarter of the freaking can in there. So they're all kind of fat and lazy today. Look how big the bellies are. $150. So the goal is to break down all of these aquariums here, all of these aquariums here, all of these aquariums here, all of these aquariums, this side as well, and the entire top row, and maybe this middle row too, and then just have the main wall of tanks running and my big displays. Sounds like a lot of work to me. I have, but I'll see what they say today, see how much time I have to get all this done. Oh, I'll definitely set it all back up once I'm better. You know, it's just the reality here. You know, if I'm asking my children and husband, who are busy people too, to take over my full-time job, I've got to try and make it a little bit more manageable. And again, the hope is that I'll be able to move the vast majority of the fish that are in these various aquariums outside in order to breed for the summer anyway, and takes almost no labor. So that's what my hope is. Well, again, I meet with the doctors today at like 2, so we'll have to see if they'll let me put it off a couple months. So it is what it is. And there's a bunch of local people that have offered to help me out. Someone just said that my knee's bone on bone. I have absolutely no connective tissue left in my right knee, and I have 5 prosthetic pieces in there, 4 of which are currently like jangling about and occasionally get lodged in the actual joint, which is excruciatingly painful. Doesn't happen often, luckily, but it's just a hot mess. And I've been trying to ignore it for way too long. Someone said something about it being 2 weeks. They're telling me to expect 3 months before I'll be able to do steps regularly because of how damaged my knee is, and it's going to be a complicated surgery, and they're expecting to have complications in recovery. So we'll have to see. Yeah, it's from a previous injury. My speaking tours, I don't know. Part of the reason I want to put it off till June is that means I'll be able to, I've got Big Fish Deal next weekend, I've got Mexico a few weeks after that, I've got Toronto in June, and I think I have New Jersey in May. I'm not entirely sure. But then I usually take the summer off from traveling, which means that would give me a few months in order to have my surgery and recover. I know I'm supposed to do Winnipeg in September. I'm supposed to speak at Catfish Convention in November or October, and I was asked if I may be speaking at Aquatic Experience this year. So that would mean I would take off from June till basically September from speaking in order to have my surgery and recover. But again, it really just depends on what happens. It's difficult to predict. Say my husband's rockabilly. My husband actually really likes hip hop. He likes rockabilly too, but he's more into like old school hip hop than anything else these days. But his look is more rockabilly. But he was rockabilly before rockabilly was really a thing. Before it had that like trend. He's always wore shrink to fit jeans and plain t-shirts and had a pompadour. He had a pompadour when he was 18 years old. So, you know. Don't pick on you old schoolers. No, the old schoolers, I'm a member of that club too. But I'm really loving these community aquariums. I forgot how fun it was, and I'm hoping that you guys see the benefit of the really large schools of singular fish rather than the collectoritis. I think if I would have only stuck, 15 or so of those green neons in this aquarium, they would all be hiding. And instead, they're really all out and about. And the pencils are doing exactly what I hoped they would do, which is playing along the thicket at the top. So, it's rewarding. Let me see if I can pay attention to the comments a little bit. Yeah, I'm keeping the fundraiser up for my husband. I'll put the link to it, or try to, here in a second. For some reason it logs me into my dashboard every time, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to. But if you go to St. Jude's, you just look for the Jimmy Star Memorial Fund. And it comes up that way. I created a custom URL that way. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. Let's see if this link works. I'm keeping it open until their birthday, which is, I believe, Tuesday, the 26th. Oh, no, it's in 3 days. What's today? Today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, so I'll keep it open until then, but the response has been fantastic, and my husband's really, really touched. Someone asked how many planted tanks. I have all of them except the big boys and Captain are planted tanks in some capacity. I've always used plants. Is there a set amount of almond leaves or similar that should be added for leaf litter per gallon? How much does it affect pH hardness? A lot of that has a lot to do with your actual water chemistry as to whether or not it'll really soften things that much. And there isn't a real rule of thumb. I just put in what looks good. A lot of times you'll read 1 per 5 gallon or things like that. But again, it depends on the size of the leaves. It depends on your source water. It depends on your water change schedule. There's not simple blanket answers. Thank you, Thomas. I will be at BFD. I'm giving a lecture, and I'm also moderating the speaker panel. And you asked if it's okay for the fish to have them bagged for the duration. what I like to do, or what I prefer, well, technically, yeah. I mean, and you could always rebag them. You know, I tend to have people pick things up for me on Friday so that I don't have to do that. But you certainly could. I would make sure you pack, you know, a bucket, a net, some bags, rubber bands if you use them, some water conditioner, and some sort of cooler or fish box in order to keep the temperature stable. Probably no shipping till after surgery. I don't know if I can stand on the concrete to do it. I am only taking pre-orders for the big fish deal as of right now, unless I have some sort of miraculous pain-free week. The Oscar, he's either 11, I think he's around 11 years old, Captain. I mean, he's an old fish. He may be almost 12. I really can't remember when I got him. It was before I built the fish room, and I built the fish room 10 years ago. So it's my right knee. It's covered with scars. It's really ugly and gnarly looking. Whatever. Can't all be beautiful. But I added a bunch of albino ancestris to the crib retirement. Joey offered to come and help, honestly. You know, I don't know if you guys realize it's like an all-day flight for us to see each other, and it costs anywhere from $600 to $1,000 for that flight. So it's asking an awful lot of a friend to have them fly down to help me when they live so far away. I have plenty of local fish keepers that I'm friends with that, you know, can come help me out. But of course, Joey would always be welcome. He's a good friend to me. So, is someone trolling? I see you all getting angry about something, and I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, football. Mine was, I played field hockey, and I also rode horses, and I ran, and I played soccer. And my knee said no to all of those things, and I just did it anyway, which was not very smart. Thanks, Bob. And hi, Bob. I didn't even see you there. Trumpet snails? Which trumpet snails are you referring to, KTs? Malaysian trumpet snails, I give those away. And now if you're referring to apples, or the Tylomelania snails, they're expensive because they're difficult to export. But I'm not sure which you're referring to. I think if people are... Holy shit, Jake. Thank you. The plan is to move a lot of the fish outside in order to be able to access them, to be able to continue to do content updates on how the plants are doing, the greenhouse, the carnivorous plants, the fish breeding, all that kind of stuff. And I may, who knows, I may be able to convince my kids to come down here and shoot footage for me. And I am hoping that I'm going to be able to get down here at least infrequently to just check on things and visit my fish. You got to understand, like, fish have been my whole professional life for 15 years. The idea of not being down here all day, every day, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll get to the rabbit snails in a minute. I really don't know what I'm going to do. I don't watch television. I read a lot of books, but, like, I'm used to just being down here hanging out with the fish. So it's going to be, I'm going to be bored out of my skull. Take up knitting. Yeah, maybe I should. I do love a cozy blanket and scarf. As far as rabbit snails are expensive because they come out of Sulawesi. And there's a bunch of different places they're collected there. There's, of course, the big lakes that they're collected from, and then there's the river streams. And a lot of it has become protected because they've been introducing a lot of cattle for farming. There's been a lot of introduced species that are destroying the other species. And the lakes are relatively deep, so they can be difficult to collect. So, they are what they are. I don't work with them because they always come in with leeches, Glossophonia leeches, and I can't, there's a few things in this world that I really, truly can't stand and that give me the heebie-jeebies, and leeches are definitely one of those. The most expensive fish I have is my Cuban gar. His value's in 5 figures. They're very uncommon. I don't have a pond. No ladders. Yeah, that's why I'm breaking down I want to break down all the top level and low level tanks, so that I can at least work on these middle of the level ones. Thank you, Roger. Or at least be able to like visit with my middle level tanks. You know, and part of the plan is too, you know, I've had this idea for a while that I really want to change the structure of things down here. So I'm thinking like it'll be a good opportunity breaking down all these tanks to get my husband to fabricate some new racks for me for different size aquariums, which I can provide content for you guys with that. I know a lot of you over the years have been really interested in how he makes these stands. So, you know, and then that way I can set up a quarantine system of smaller aquariums, and then have more displays for me. So that's sort of the thought process too. Plus I'd love to redo my air loop that I have down here. It's sloppy as all get out. I'd like to automate some of the tanks, not all of them, but like the big boys and Captain and the 150. The larger tanks I would like to have on an auto system, auto drip system. So, hi Brianna. Feed my Oscar. Okay. Any plans for a pond? Only if someone else is paying for it. I haven't worked since December, so you know I don't have a lot of excess of fundage right now. Do you know what's coming, Captain? Don't bite me. You guys see him all right? Yeah. One other goal for while I'm out in recovery is to finish my second book. So, you know, I assume I'll feel motivated to do something. How many tanks do I have? I don't know, probably about 120. You guys want me to get a little closer? Here, let me flip. Can you guys see Whiskey's mouth moving? This would be easier if I turned the camera the other way and was actually looking at what... There we go, now I can sit down. Look at his little jaws working. Nom 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 nom. I love Whiskey too. Captain makes sure he gets every single pellet. Oh, good. See, Whiskey does laps over there. He loves this like little branch coming down for him. Oscars grow really quickly. Check it out. I added a bunch of these giant ancestris, just albino ancestris in this aquarium, and I think I have 2 of them on eggs right now already. See how he's fanning that tube? Here's my, what are they, like, gosh, they moved here with me from Delaware. So these neon tetras moved here in 2005 at adult size. So these are 13-year-old neon tetras. These Odessa barbs are pretty sexy too. I might move them back outside this year. Look, there's a couple more big old ancestris. Feed my gar. Oh God. Ouch. They got a huge feeding yesterday. I really shouldn't feed them again today, in all honesty. I mean, they pigged out. I accidentally dumped so much food in there yesterday. I appreciate you making it, Botox. You guys want to see the Shelleys? I get my caves from either southcentralcichlids.com or plecocaves.com. They're both quite good. I don't like to keep angels, so I don't have a favorite. I could feed the Shelleys, though. No, Joey got rid of his Shelleys a long time ago. I have so much camera equipment laying everywhere. Who makes these messes? Ouch. Yeah, Bristlenose Plecos are super easy to breed. I like to say you just add water. Stick an O-nip up here for the Shelleys, and then we'll sit and watch and wait. Sorry, this is so bouncy, guys. Everybody comes out of the woodwork. Biggest thing I'm worried about down here when I'm out is all the fry being fed. There's some teeny tinies in the back, right back there. Not sure if you guys will be able to see them or not. See them? Right in front of the big shell. There's usually babies up here too. This is my cell phone right now. It's the easiest way for me to go live for you guys. The Shelley fry eat the same thing the grown-ups do. Chili enchiladas? What are you talking about? 75-gallon nano? Sure. I could feed that one too. Oh. I have a whole handful of pellets. I don't know why I grabbed a whole handful to feed one tank. I am absolutely loving this tank. Wait until all the Odos come out of the woodwork. No, I don't have silver dollars. Here they come. See how nice and directional the green neons are in this size group? Really, 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 really nice. They're like, ooh, food, where is it, where is it? They're not the brightest bulbs. We'll see how long it takes them to figure out where the food is. Yeah, I would hope I get Contridens fry soon. I saw a pair either fighting or starting to mate yesterday. In the 75, the substrate is Tropica powder, which is a soil type substrate similar to like aqua soil. I may end up adding more fish. I'm not sure. I kind of like it the way it is. I should show you guys how obese my Otocinclus are. Am I ever going to have a saltwater? Probably not. I don't do things a little bit. I've mentioned this before. If I were to get a saltwater tank, I would need a second fish room for all the saltwater tanks. Yes, I've bred Otocinclus lots of times, including zebra Odos. It's called Sarah O'Nip Clucking and Cooking. Oh, you must have a chicken and cooking channel. That's awesome. I'll have to check it out. Let's see. Look how chubby. There's an Odo right there. See how round the bellies are? There's another fatty right there. There's actually like 40 of them in here. They were all schooling with the Tetras this morning. Of course, oh, there's one right here. And there's the little Apistogramma male. But I'm really, really, really liking this. It's very thin on this side, the substrate, because I didn't plant any plants into it over there. Over here, in this section, it's about 2.5 inches, because that's where I was putting plants that were being planted in it. You know, this side's just going to be leaf litter, so I don't need much substrate there. Yeah, I have lots of Bristlenose Pleco. The ottos feed on what grows on the wood, and they also feed on the leaf litter. See how you can see through these leaves? That's from the otos grazing on them. They absolutely love not only the infusoria that grow on the surface of the leaves, but the actual leaves themselves. You can see all the barred pencilfish up in the top. Those are almond leaves. You should, someone did something about pairing Otocinclus with Pygmaeus. You should see like 300 of each together. It's absolutely freaking incredible. Yeah, they'd eat maple leaf. Someone says the male Apistogramma needs a name. I don't usually name fish. Captain Cranky Pants has a name because, well, he's a jerk. I mean, he's captain. See the otos swimming around? There's some grazing on the leaves that I was just talking about. See how round their bellies are? That's how you know it's a healthy oto. Look, you can see the green neons through the leaves. They're so thin. Hope you guys aren't disappointed with this choice. Like over half of you voted for the green neons, and I'm just super excited to see them in this aquarium. See how nice their color's gotten? I could sit and watch this tank all day. I'm not sure why it's so out of focus. There it goes. I like the tannins. This particular type of soil does not leach much ammonia. Look, the light on this tank is a $13 2x32 watt shot light, T8 bulbs. But look how they pop against the green of the plants. Showing off for you guys. Wish I could get him to focus. He's really colored. I haven't seen his lady in a while, so she's either on eggs or something tragic happened. No, this driftwood will last quite a while. You figure I set up my 150 years ago, and that wood is still fully intact. Yeah, I'm hoping it's the first one too. I mean, I haven't seen any bodies, but in a tank this heavily planted, you never know. So I'll just have to keep tabs on it. Now you can see all the otos coming out of the woodwork. Look at the fatties. Yeah, I've had fish just go missing. It's part of fish keeping. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with this one. I'm hoping the fish in the 20-gallon community step up their game and become more visible as well. Look at these guys. This is one of my favorite fish of all time. Yeah, mono shrimp are like freaking cockroaches, dude. They can jump, they can crawl, they can run, especially when they get larger. Yeah, green neons can survive in harder water. North American species, let's go take a look at a few. Let me grab some more pellets. It's my grubby paws. Are you happy, Captain? Smile at the people. They love you. I'd like to get some pygmy sunfish to work with, but in here I have a few natives. 40-gallon would be a great size for Shelly's. Let's see if they'll hold still. I'll show you. Uh-oh, my battery power's at 5%. These are a native. These are Yellowfin Shiners. And that red dude is a rainbow shiner. Let's see everybody come out of the woodwork in this aquarium. Uh-oh, why is my phone blowing up? White clouds. Danny O'Kayafit. I'm gonna have to go plug in a minute, or I'll disappear. So if I disappear, I do apologize. There's the Gastromyzon viriosus, the Rhinogobius shui. No, I'm not shipping again. All right, let's sit down and take some questions, and then I may have to wrap this up a little early. Let me plug you guys back in. I thought I was charging my phone before I started, but it really helps if you plug it into the wall. What can I say? I'm a genius. Whoa, almost threw you across the room. Do I have any bigger Pleco 9-inch point, 9-inch plus? No, I don't work with like the bigger Plecos very often. I just, you know, most of my tanks are geared towards smaller fish, and when I've tried doing larger Plecos specifically with Captain, he's murdered them. So I don't really keep any. I mean, up to 5 inches is usually what I do. The light is really bright. That light, yeah, so you can see my lovely face. I would, when setting up a small new tank that will house both fish and shrimp, I think it's best to add the shrimp, let them establish, and let them start breeding before you add fish to that aquarium. Favorite large-bodied tetra? Probably diamond tetras. I mean, they're not that large, but they're a larger body in comparison to what I keep anyway. Opinions on glowfish? I think that glowfish are a gateway fish. So they're responsible for getting a lot of people interested in the hobby that otherwise wouldn't be, and for that they're invaluable. I think their use in scientific research is fascinating, though it is not my personal preference to keep genetically modified species. But I don't think that they're not bad like tattooed or dyed fish. Tank mates for apisto pairs. I like keeping small tetras. Pencil fish are among my favorite. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat. Opinions on Alto Lamprologus. I want some. They have the cutest, grumpiest faces. I might do that with one of the 75s in the fish room. Either Juliet Acromis or Alto Lamprologus. Yeah, I have that. My opinions on fish are mine. I don't, you know, other than like things that are actually detrimental for the fish, like tattooing and dyeing, you know, it's very much a personal opinion thing. I don't like, for the most part, balloon-bodied fish. I don't like the long fin versions of things. I prefer the wild, natural forms of the vast majority of fish. I'm not particularly into fancy goldfish. I think they have a difficult time swimming. Same with a lot of the domesticated bettas. Same with guppies. A lot of the things that we've intervened in order to have their looks suit our designer needs. When it compromises their actual ability to behave like fish, it's not my preference. It doesn't mean that I think it's like the worst thing ever. It's just, it doesn't appeal to my aesthetic, and I only work with things that I like. So, I mean, I can't, someone just said they can't believe someone bred balloon flagfish. I can't believe they bred longfin Oscars. Why in the world would you want a longfin Oscar? I mean, they're rough enough on their fins when they're short. Like, come on, like, how does this even make sense? So, you know, now I like some of the longfin plecos, but they're not ones that, like, swim around that freely, so, you know, it doesn't bother me as much. Like, I have longfin standards that I work with, and they're pretty, and, you know, they're good sellers, so it is what it is. I think I'm going to be able to give you guys about 10 more minutes, and then I have to get ready for my appointment. I really don't, I'm dreading it. I don't know. I don't know. How often should you clean sponge filters? It's not a bad idea to clean them as part of regular maintenance. Now, for me, I tend to do them about once a month, or if I see the bubble output slowing at all, I get to it. Amano shrimp have a very, very, very low bio load, Randy. Shrimp in general, you can keep 10 plus per gallon tank space, and I think that's even being conservative. Very low bio load. So I wouldn't worry too much as long as your tank is well cycled. That, you know, the biggest issue with adding a bunch of things at once is if you were to have like a mini spike in ammonia, shrimp in general are intolerant of that. What's my favorite fish? My Polypterus endliceri. Best items to use for DIY breeding caves. You can buy little flower pots, like the cheapo ones, and use a hole saw in order to, I actually have a Tuesday tip about that. Coconut huts work really well. You can either buy, you know, a whole coconut and core it out, or you can buy the half coconut shells on eBay or Amazon or anywhere. Actual driftwood makes good caves. You can stack river rocks, but my favorites are probably utilizing either the terracotta pots or the coconut caves. Thank you, Jess, Logan. Appreciate the well wishes. How are the beta doing? You mean Sid Fishes? He's doing great. His tank needs the glass cleaned. Maybe I'll take you guys upstairs and show you him at the end here. Oh, PVC can work for caves too. I like to use PVC elbows for shellies. Or you can use capped off PVC for plecos. Yeah, there's any number of things that you can use. 2.5 gallon shrimp tank, use substrate, has Anubias Nana Petite and Java Moss sponge filter. I'm not sure what kind of shrimp you're working with, but if it's a Neocaridina, I find that they exhibit better coloration if you do utilize at least a thin skim of substrate. With things like cherry shrimp and things like that, if you keep them in a bare tank, they try and blend to their environment. So if you keep them on white sand, their coloration is less vivid than if you keep them on a darker, more natural substrate. So it's cherry shrimp, so I would recommend putting down either a thin layer of a natural darker gravel or some black sand or dark sand. Thank you for the well wishes, Sam. Best beginner fish and plants for 7.8 pH. I mean, Anubias, ferns, valves, crypts all do well in higher pH. And as far as fish, the vast majority will adjust just fine to your chemistry. Would Amano and cherry shrimp do okay together? For the most part, sometimes in really small aquariums, The Amanos can get a little bit aggressive, especially during feeding, but for the most part they are compatible. When I first became interested in fish in the aquarium hobby, my dad had fish as a kid, and one of my favorite and only good memories of spending time with my dad was going to the fish store to pick out fish. And you know, we always had a 55-gallon aquarium in our living room. When I moved out of home when I was just before I was 17 or around 17. I moved to the city. I didn't keep fish again until I started my family. I had my first daughter when I was 23. So I got a fish tank then. Had my second daughter at 24. And the hobby just spiraled. Working a pet store, taking over the fish section, good for you. Trimming and tending to plants, I don't know that I am the best one to give you advice on that, because I have some sort of magic water or something. I can grow almost anything that I try to and have to do very little. But I would encourage you to look at Brooklyn Hardscape's YouTube channel, or someone like Corey Hopkins or Art Comiso, or even on Instagram, John Kinney Aquascaping, even Oliver Canott. There's a lot of really, George Farmer has a great channel. Some of the people that are like really into plants and aquascaping would be more helpful for you there. I always have plants in every aquarium. However, for me, it's all about the fish. So the plants are there because the fish like them, not because I love the plants. What lights do I use? Shop lights on almost everything. Best meds for internal parasites. I like to start with metronidazole or praziquantel. Yes, I've kept dwarf crayfish and CPOs. I wrote an article for Amazonas Magazine. You can still find it online. As well as but they're illegal in my state now, so I can't keep them any longer. How do I collect rainwater? I have gutters on my greenhouse that are diverted to a large tote. I don't use heaters in the tanks except for high pancistrus. I use a heater that's on the floor right here. Should I use ammonia remover insert in my HOB filter? I think that's probably unnecessary if you're doing regular water changes and your fish tank is cycled. The snail eater in Nano is the assassin snail. I have thought about just getting LED bulbs. It's still a big investment for down here. Why do I use sponge filters? Because I can power the entire fish room's filtration with one 80-watt pump. It is quite a bit of electrical savings for me. And it means I can maintain each tank individually in order to provide unique parameters, adequate quarantine, and observation. I like flame Tetras. What time is it? A couple more minutes. Do you guys want to go see Sid Fishes? I water change meds out, and I also utilize polyfilter. All right, let me just, here, my house is probably a mess. No, I don't have axolotls. I don't keep axolotls because my water is, or my fish room's too warm. You guys can, why didn't it flip? Let's go take a look at Sid. There he is. Say hello to the people, Sid Fishes. He's sassy as ever. His tank's due for some significant trimming. What kind of moss? I think it's spiky moss. I didn't actually put any moss in this aquarium. It volunteered. So I'm not entirely sure. I pull out about a golf ball a week. Do you guys want to see the sculptures up close that my husband made for this St. Jude's giveaway? Still need to put some more plant here. All right, my house is a mess. I apologize. This is a bigger cichlid sculpture. This one spins. It's kind of neat. Ooh, I just tripped over a pillow. And then this is the little school of fish one. Now these can all move as well. I think it's pretty cool. Give you guys a little bit of a close up on the fish. And they're all sealed with wax, so they won't rust, and so that you can see the beautiful coloration that the metal gets from heating. Oof, I'm a graceful hawk. Let's see, I think it's pretty cool. Whoops. He also made this table. He also made this table, which I think is pretty cool. This was supposed to be a fish tank stand. Actually, it was supposed to be a stand for this bowl that I'm supposed to make a wabikusa out of, but still haven't. He also made me this plant stand, which you can hardly see because my plants are doing so well. But all of these are adjustable, so you can spin them to adjust where the plants are. He makes me all kinds of neat stuff. He made this coat rack, which you can't see for all the coats on it. He's going to be making me a coffee table that will live right here with the cat toys and the cat couches. You see the kitty? Pepper! Kitty, kitty, kitty. Say hello. Say hello to the people. There you guys go. Got an up close and personal. His Instagram is Mr. Jinxed. I don't really let the cats down into the fish room very often. Mainly because, like, they still act like little kittens and they just knock crap over. I mean, they act like cats. So I tend to keep them upstairs, though when I'm working downstairs for like 12 hours or more, I'll let them come down with me. Ooh, thank you for the time check. This is my job. Selling fish is my job. Well, I'm not doing a very good job of it this year, but that's, what can you do? How can you tell if your pleco is getting the proper diet? Their belly should be nice and round and their eyes should not look sunken. But I should probably get my butt in gear so that I can go to the knee doctor and hear all the news. I don't keep discus right now, Adam, so it'd be difficult to do a care guide. Joey has a very good one on his channel. I would encourage you to go over to the King of DIY and look up those videos there. Thank you for all the well wishes, you guys. Thank you for the super chats, and thank you for spending time with me. I'll do another one of these next Friday. Yeah, surgery will cost $6,500 out of pocket before the insurance kicks in. Yay, American healthcare. I will talk to you guys soon, if I can figure out how to turn this off.